WWE just saved Alexa Bliss's career by doing three very, very interesting things. If you saw the May 16th episode of SmackDown, you saw the return of Alexa Bliss. She had been off television for the last few months. We've not seen her really since Elimination Chamber. So what did she do? Well, there's three interesting points. Number one, she did not return with the Wyatt Six, something in which WWE was reportedly planning to do, indicating that they have dropped plans for her with the Wyatt Six, and that is a good thing for her career. Number two, she teased an alliance of sorts with Charlotte Flair, which is interesting. Case in point, they're trying to give her a much bigger push now that she is solo. And number three, she won a Money in the Bank qualifying match, beating Chelsea Green and Mishin. I can absolutely see her being a surprise Miss Money in the Bank contract winner. So 2025 has been very interesting for Alexa Bliss. Think about it. She was off WWE television since 2023. She was initially going to take time off. She ended up getting pregnant. Her storyline with Bray Wyatt completely fell apart, partially due to her pregnancy and partially due to the fact that Bray Wyatt had passed away. And so she took time off and she was trying to get back into ring shape, and she was posting all these updates on social media. And at the end of the day, it took her until January of 2025 or February of 2025, if you want to be exact, because there were such ups and downs with Alexa Bliss, right? Like, they were trying to get her to agree on creative. Okay, they agreed on creative. She was going to return, and then they started having issues with her contract. Her management team wanted her to sign a new deal. WWE wanted to keep her under her old deal, and they were not getting on the same page. Fast forward, Royal Rumble, about an hour before showtime, there's a report by PW Insider that says, oh, by the way, Alexa Bliss is in fact returning in the Women's Royal Rumble match, and she came out, she got a big pop because, if you didn't know by now, Alexa Bliss is a pretty big deal. And so she comes out and she works the match and she works Elimination Chamber, and then all of a sudden, poof, Alexa Bliss is gone. She disappears from television. There is no rhyme or reason as to where Alexa Bliss was or why she was pulled off of WWE television. But do you know what happened? Disappointment. All of her fans were disappointed, including myself, because I know how big of a star Alexa Bliss can be and how big of a star that she actually is. And then she started to resurface again because there was reports leading up to Mania. Hey, she's going to be back. She's going to be part of some type of storyline with the Wyatt Six. You know, that faction that had a initial great debut but fizzled out because they're all low to mid-card type talents who have not achieved all that type of big-time success that her and Bray Wyatt used to. But she was going to be the catalyst. She was going to be the leader. She was going to be the savior of this group, and I thought it was absolutely idiotic to do so. Then WrestleMania comes and goes, and now we are into mid-May, and she returned on the May 16th episode of SmackDown. She did two very interesting things. Alexa Bliss won a triple threat match against Chelsea Green and Mishin, automatically qualifying herself for the women's Money in the Bank match. That's a big deal. There's also some interesting things. So you have to keep in mind that Alexa Bliss returning to television, teasing like a tag team or an alliance with Charlotte Flair, and there being no mention of the Wyatt Six, proves that WWE just saved Alexa Bliss's career. What do I mean by that? Well, let's break this down step by step. Let's start off at the very jump. The fact that Alexa Bliss is not on television and aligned with the Wyatt Six is absolutely beautiful, because you are asking her to save a faction that is dead. And it has been dead since, I don't know, week 3 of their careers, their tenures, the start of the storyline. Outside of the initial debut, no one really cares about this group, right? They've been off of television 4 months, and there's been no cry of, oh, well, we need to get Wyatt Six back on television. That has not been the case, to the point where WWE shifted them from Raw to SmackDown because they dropped initial or original Alexa Bliss plans, because they were like, okay, we had this faction, we have to save them somehow, right? We brought back all these talents, we gave them this television time, we gave them the big debut. Oh my God, we have to put her put them with Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss, we also don't have anything for her, and we're just going to do this, right? There's really no rhyme or reason as to why. And then when they went from Raw to SmackDown, and Alexa Bliss was initially supposed to be on Raw, then they shifted it to SmackDown, there was a lot of ups, there was a lot of downs. But the fact is, I think they made the right call by not having her align with Wyatt Six, because you're basically saying, hey, we understand that Alexa Bliss and Bray Wyatt had this wonderful thing, 4 or 5 years ago. But now we're trying to save this group. We're trying to do this group. We really don't know why we're trying to do this group, but we're trying to do this group. How about we play off the legacy? How about we play off a history? How about we put her with them? And it's like, you're basically saying, okay, we understand Alexa Bliss, her status, her legacy, her drawing ability is here, which is high. And then we also have the Wyatt Six, which is much lower than them. And we're trying to have her bring them up, even though it's pretty much dead weight at this point. So it's not necessarily bringing them up. They're actually dragging Alexa Bliss down, right? You can stick with your freaking Lily dolls and you can sell the merch all you want, but you don't necessarily have to have her aligned with the Wyatt Six. A few other reasons that they saved her more in depth, right? The other two being, okay, they're teasing an alliance with Charlotte Flair. Very interesting. That's always a good thing by having Alexa Bliss be paired or be part of a segment or interacting or having really any association with a top tier star, right? And I'll be frank with y'all, I'll be honest with y'all. I see Alexa Bliss as a top star, but clearly WWE doesn't right now. And so she's not in a top tier star status. She's in an upper card type role. But if you can associate with top tier stars, if you can associate with main rosters or main event stars rather, then I think that's the way to go. And I think that's a good positive direction in which you can lead to. And I also think having her win Money in the Bank qualifying, do I necessarily see her winning Miss Money in the Bank? No, but she has in the past. And I think in Money in the Bank, you always have one or two clear-cut favorites, and then you also have just one wild card that you think, well, maybe. And then sometimes you can have just a complete out of nowhere type of person, and maybe Alexa Bliss can be that. Now, we don't know the other competitors in the match, obviously, but it is something to desperately, desperately keep an eye on, and it's something to really phone in, because if we put all the dots, we put everything on paper, and we overview it, and we go, okay, there's some interesting things going on here. We have number one, she's not associated with Wyatt Six anymore, so they're trying to elevate her. Okay, that's interesting. And then they're also teasing something with Charlotte Flair in her, and that raises her star power. Okay, so those two things, so they're clearly trying to make her a big star. She's getting a push. And then, oh, by the way, she's going to be inserted in Money in the Bank, where she could surprisingly win the match and throw everyone off guard. Oh, well, that's an interesting development. Oh, that's interesting to keep an eye on. That is something in which you need to keep your focus on. So with that being said, very interesting stuff here with Alexa Bliss, WWE, but I believe they saved her in that